Every morning you are presented with two choices. One path is comfortable. It asks nothing from you except surrender. Sleep a little longer. Delay your work. Skip today's effort. Tell yourself tomorrow will be different. The other path is demanding. It requires discipline before comfort. It asks you to keep promises that no one else will know about. It challenges you to become the kind of person who follows through even when nobody is watching. Most people believe they need motivation before they can begin. They wait for the perfect mood, the right mindset, or a sudden burst of inspiration that will finally push them into action. They tell themselves that tomorrow they will feel stronger, more focused, or more determined. But tomorrow often looks exactly like today because motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes without warning. Some mornings you wake up feeling unstoppable, while other days even the smallest task feels impossible. If your progress depends on how you feel, your progress will always be inconsistent. That is why consistency is far more powerful than motivation. Consistency asks you to act regardless of your emotions. It teaches you that your feelings are temporary, but your actions shape your future. Think about the strongest people you know. They are not strong because they always feel inspired. They are strong because they continue moving, even when inspiration disappears. They understand that discipline begins where motivation ends. Anyone can work hard when they are excited. Anyone can stay committed when results come quickly. The real challenge begins when the excitement fades and the work becomes repetitive. This is where most people stop. They mistake the loss of motivation for a sign that they should quit, when in reality, it is simply the moment they must rely on discipline instead of emotion. Your mind naturally searches for comfort. It wants to avoid effort because effort feels uncomfortable. It creates convincing excuses that sound logical. It tells you that one missed workout will not matter, that one skipped study session is harmless, or that you deserve another day of rest. These thoughts feel reasonable because they promise immediate comfort. But every time you listen to them, you strengthen the habit of giving up. Every excuse accepted today becomes easier to accept tomorrow. Slowly, your standards begin to fall without you even noticing. Instead of asking yourself whether you feel motivated, ask yourself whether you are committed. Commitment does not change with the weather, your mood, or your circumstances. Commitment means showing up even when your energy is low. It means keeping the promises you made to yourself long after the excitement of making them has disappeared. It means understanding that every small action counts, even when it seems insignificant. Imagine two people beginning the same journey. One waits for motivation before taking action. The other follows a routine no matter how they feel. At first, they may appear to make similar progress. But after weeks and months, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. The motivated person experiences bursts of effort, followed by long periods of inactivity. The consistent person moves forward every single day, even if the progress is small. Those small steps accumulate into something powerful, because consistency compounds over time. There will be days when your work feels meaningless. You may wonder if your effort is making any difference. Those are the moments that matter most. Continuing despite doubt builds resilience. Continuing despite boredom builds discipline. Continuing despite slow progress builds character. Success rarely belongs to the person who starts with the most enthusiasm. It belongs to the one who refuses to stop after the enthusiasm fades. Do not allow your emotions to decide your future. Feelings change every day, but your goals remain the same. Train yourself to act first and let motivation follow your actions, instead of waiting for motivation to arrive before you begin. Every completed task, every fulfilled promise, and every disciplined decision teaches your mind that action comes before emotion, not after it. Over time, you stop depending on temporary inspiration because your habits become stronger than your feelings, and your daily discipline becomes the quiet force that carries you forward regardless of the challenges in front of you. Many people believe that success comes from one massive breakthrough, one extraordinary effort, or one life-changing decision. They spend their time searching for shortcuts, hoping for an opportunity that will instantly transform their lives. But lasting success is rarely built in dramatic moments. It is built through small daily actions repeated over weeks, months, and years. These actions often seem too simple to matter. Reading a few pages, exercising for 30 minutes, saving a little money, practicing a skill, or waking up a little earlier may not seem impressive today. Yet these seemingly insignificant habits quietly shape the direction of your future. The problem is that people judge their progress too quickly. They expect visible results after only a few days of effort. When they cannot immediately see change, they assume their work is useless and stop. They fail to understand that meaningful growth happens gradually. A seed planted in the ground does not become a tree overnight. Before it reaches toward the sky, it develops roots beneath the surface. Those roots remain invisible, yet they are the foundation that allows the tree to stand strong for decades. Your own habits work in the same way. Every consistent action strengthens your foundation, even when the results cannot yet be seen. Imagine placing one brick every single day. One brick alone does not look like a house. After 1 week, it still appears insignificant. Even after 1 month, people might wonder what you are building. But if you continue placing one brick every day without fail, eventually a solid structure begins to emerge. Success follows the same principle. Every workout strengthens your body a little more. Every focused study session expands your knowledge. Every disciplined decision improves your character. The individual actions may seem ordinary, but together they create extraordinary outcomes. Small actions also remove the pressure of perfection. Many people avoid starting because they believe they need enough time, enough energy, or the perfect plan. They wait until everything feels ideal before taking the first step. Meanwhile, opportunities pass them by. The truth is that progress begins the moment you choose action, no matter how small that action may be. 5 minutes of focused work is better than an hour of procrastination. 1-page read is better than an unread book. A short walk is better than remaining inactive all day. Small victories create momentum, and momentum makes the next action easier. Your daily habits are shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. Every choice either moves you closer to your goals or further away from them. Skipping one workout may seem harmless, just as completing one workout may not seem life-changing. But life is not determined by isolated decisions. It is determined by repeated patterns. Your future body, career, relationships, and mindset are all reflections of what you consistently choose to do today. There will be moments when your progress feels painfully slow. You may wonder if your efforts are making any difference. During those moments, remember that growth often happens quietly. The strongest foundations are built before anyone notices the building. Every day you continue your routine. You are strengthening habits that will eventually produce visible results. Patience becomes your greatest ally because you understand that worthwhile achievements require time. Do not underestimate the power of one disciplined decision. One healthy meal encourages another. One completed task builds confidence for the next. One day of consistency becomes 1 week, 1 month, and eventually 1 year. The habits that once required tremendous effort begin to feel natural because repetition transforms difficult actions into automatic behaviors. What once felt impossible becomes part of your daily identity. The remarkable lives you admire were not created through occasional bursts of excellence. They were built through countless ordinary moments when someone chose to take one more step instead of giving up, one more repetition instead of stopping, one more page instead of closing the book, one more disciplined choice instead of following temporary comfort. Allowing those small daily actions to quietly accumulate into results that eventually appeared extraordinary to everyone else. Every person has excuses. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not the number of obstacles they face, but how they respond to them. Excuses are a natural part of being human. Your mind is designed to protect you from discomfort, uncertainty, and effort. Whenever you decide to do something difficult, your mind immediately begins searching for reasons to delay it. It tells you that you are too tired, too busy, not prepared enough, or that today simply is not the right day. These thoughts often sound reasonable because they are carefully disguised as logic. But discipline begins the moment you recognize these excuses without allowing them to control your actions. There will never be a perfect time to start. There will always be responsibilities demanding your attention, unexpected problems disrupting your plans, and moments when your energy feels low. If you wait until life becomes easy, you will wait forever. The disciplined person understands that action is not reserved for perfect circumstances. It is practiced in imperfect ones. They stop asking whether conditions are ideal and instead ask themselves what they can accomplish with the time and energy they have today. Excuses often grow stronger when a task feels uncomfortable. Your brain naturally seeks immediate pleasure and avoids temporary pain. It encourages you to choose entertainment over learning, comfort over effort, and distraction over responsibility. At first, these choices seem harmless. Skipping one workout, delaying one assignment, or avoiding one difficult conversation appears insignificant. But repeated often enough, these small decisions become habits. Habits shape your character, and your character determines the direction of your life. Discipline does not mean you suddenly stop feeling tired or discouraged. It does not mean fear disappears or that challenges become easier. It means you refuse to let those feelings become your leader. You acknowledge them, but you keep moving anyway. You may not enjoy every step, but you understand that your future depends on your willingness to continue despite discomfort. Feelings are temporary visitors. They come and go throughout the day. Your decisions, however, leave lasting consequences. Think about the promises you make to yourself. You decide to wake up earlier, exercise consistently, improve your skills, or spend less time on distractions. In the beginning, these promises are made with confidence because your motivation is high. But after a few days, excuses begin to appear. Suddenly, your goals seem less important than immediate comfort. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence weakens a little. You begin to doubt your own ability to follow through. On the other hand, every time you keep a promise despite resistance, you strengthen trust in yourself. Self-confidence is built through evidence, and that evidence comes from repeatedly doing what you said you would do. Discipline also requires honesty. It asks you to stop blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck for every setback. While some obstacles are beyond your control, your response to them is always your responsibility. Instead of saying, "I couldn't because life was difficult," begin asking, "What could I have done differently?" This shift in thinking places the power back into your hands. It transforms you from someone who reacts to life into someone who actively shapes it. The strongest individuals are not those who never struggle. They are the ones who continue working through the struggle. They understand that discomfort is not a warning to stop, but often a sign that they are growing. Every difficult decision strengthens their resilience. Every time they choose responsibility over excuses, they reinforce the habit of disciplined action. Over time, these repeated choices become part of their identity. They no longer rely on willpower alone, because discipline has become their default response. When challenges appear, they no longer search for reasons to quit. They search for the next step they can take, knowing that progress belongs to those who act despite resistance, rather than those who wait until resistance disappears. One of the hardest parts of any journey is continuing when you cannot see progress. In the beginning, enthusiasm carries you forward. You feel excited about the new habit, the new goal, or the new direction you have chosen. But after days or weeks of effort, you may look at your life and feel as if nothing has changed. The results are not obvious. The improvement is not dramatic. The reward seems distant. This is the stage where most people stop. They assume that because they cannot see growth, growth is not happening. Yet the most important transformation often occurs long before it becomes visible. Think of a bamboo tree. For years after it is planted, almost nothing appears above the ground. To an impatient observer, it seems as though the seed has failed. But beneath the surface, an extensive root system is developing. The tree is preparing itself for the height it will eventually reach. Then, after years of invisible growth, it suddenly rises rapidly. What appears to be sudden success is actually the result of years of unseen preparation. Human progress works the same way. Your efforts are often building roots before they produce visible results. When you study consistently, you may not notice immediate changes in your knowledge. When you exercise regularly, your body may not look different after a few weeks. When you work on your character, your relationships may not improve overnight. The temptation is to believe that your effort is wasted. But every repetition is strengthening something beneath the surface. Every focused hour is training your mind. Every disciplined action is reinforcing neural pathways. Every challenge you endure is increasing your resilience. Invisible progress is still progress. The problem is that modern life encourages instant gratification. We are surrounded by quick rewards, immediate feedback, and constant stimulation. Because of this, we become uncomfortable when results take time. We expect transformation to happen quickly, and when it does not, frustration appears. Patience begins to feel like failure, but patience is not passive. It is the discipline of continuing without immediate evidence. Imagine filling a glass with water one drop at a time. For a long period, the glass appears nearly empty. The change seems insignificant, yet each drop brings it closer to being full. Your daily efforts are those drops. You may not notice the difference after one day, but the accumulation is quietly changing your life. The danger is quitting when the glass is almost full simply because you became tired of waiting. During periods of invisible progress, doubt becomes louder. You begin asking yourself whether you are talented enough, whether your goal is realistic, or whether you should choose an easier path. These questions are normal. Every person pursuing something meaningful encounters them. The key is not to eliminate doubt, but to continue acting despite it. Confidence is not built by seeing results first. Confidence is built by remaining committed, while the results are still hidden. This is why the process matters more than the outcome. If your motivation depends entirely on visible results, you will struggle whenever progress slows. But if you learn to value the process itself, you become far more resilient. You begin to take pride in showing up, in completing the work, and in honoring your commitments, regardless of external validation. The world often celebrates the moment of achievement, while ignoring the long period of obscurity that came before it. People admire the athlete after the victory, the entrepreneur after the breakthrough, and the artist after the recognition. They rarely see the years of practice, failure, repetition, and doubt that occurred when nobody was watching. Yet those hidden years were not empty. They were the years that made the visible success possible. Your own journey will contain similar seasons. There will be times when your efforts seem unnoticed, when your progress feels painfully slow, and when the future appears uncertain. Those seasons are not signs that you are failing. They are opportunities to strengthen your commitment. Continue reading even when you do not feel smarter. Continue training even when the mirror has not changed. Continue working even when recognition has not arrived. Continue practicing even when mastery feels distant. The results you desire are often being prepared during the very period when it feels as though nothing is happening. and every day you remain committed is another root growing deeper beneath the surface, preparing you for the growth that will eventually become impossible to ignore. Every action you repeat becomes a vote for the person you are becoming. Most people think identity comes first and behavior follows, but the opposite is often true. You do not become disciplined and then begin acting consistently. You become disciplined by consistently acting with discipline. Every decision you make teaches your mind something about who you are. If you repeatedly give up when things become difficult, your mind begins to believe that quitting is part of your identity. If you continue despite discomfort, your mind starts seeing you as someone who finishes what they start. This is why building an identity that never quits is more powerful than chasing temporary motivation. Many people focus only on outcomes. They say, I want to lose weight, I want to become successful, or I want to be confident. While these goals are meaningful, they often overlook the most important question: who must you become to achieve them? A healthy body is the result of someone who consistently values movement and nutrition. Success belongs to someone who repeatedly chooses responsibility over excuses. Confidence grows in the person who keeps promises to themselves, even when nobody else is watching. Your identity is built one decision at a time, not through one dramatic transformation. Every promise you keep strengthens your self-respect. Every promise you break weakens it. Imagine telling a close friend that you would help them every morning, then failing to show up again and again. Eventually, they would stop trusting your words. The same thing happens within your own mind. Every time you promise yourself that you will wake up early, exercise, study, or complete an important task but fail to follow through, you slowly lose trust in yourself. That loss of trust affects every future goal because your mind begins expecting you to quit. On the other hand, every time you honor your commitment, even in small ways, you rebuild that trust. Building a strong identity does not require perfect performance. It requires consistent effort. There will be days when you make mistakes, lose focus, or fall short of your expectations. Those moments do not define you unless you allow them to become permanent. A person who never quits is not someone who never fails. It is someone who refuses to stay down after failing. They learn from their mistakes, adjust their approach, and continue moving forward without allowing one setback to erase months of progress. Your daily habits quietly shape your self-image. If you choose discipline every morning, your mind begins expecting disciplined behavior. If you regularly avoid difficult tasks, procrastination becomes part of your identity. The remarkable thing about identity is that it grows stronger with repetition. The more evidence you provide through your actions, the more deeply your mind believes that this is simply who you are. Over time, discipline no longer feels like something you force yourself to do. It becomes your natural response. Do not underestimate the importance of small victories. Making your bed, finishing a workout, reading a chapter, completing your work before relaxing, or resisting a distraction may seem insignificant on their own. Yet every one of these actions reinforces the belief that you are dependable. They become proof that you are someone who follows through. Confidence is not created by positive thinking alone. It is created through repeated evidence that you can rely on yourself. There will always be moments when quitting feels easier. You may become frustrated by slow progress, discouraged by failure, or distracted by easier paths. During those moments, remind yourself that every difficult decision is shaping your identity. Each time you continue despite discomfort, you strengthen the part of yourself that refuses to surrender. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to prove that your commitment is stronger than your emotions. The goal is not to become someone who never experiences fear, doubt, or exhaustion. The goal is to become someone who acts with integrity, regardless of those feelings. Build your life around the principle that your actions will always match your values, not your temporary emotions. Let every disciplined choice become another piece of evidence that you are reliable, resilient, and committed to growth. Eventually, people will recognize your consistency, but more importantly, you will recognize yourself as someone who never abandons the path simply because it becomes difficult, someone whose character is built on perseverance, responsibility, and the quiet confidence that comes from keeping promises long after the excitement of making them has faded. Extraordinary success is often misunderstood. People see the final achievement and assume it was created by extraordinary talent, extraordinary luck, or extraordinary opportunities. They admire the finished result, but overlook the countless ordinary moments that made it possible. They do not see the early mornings, the quiet evenings, the repeated failures, the disciplined routines, or the sacrifices that happen behind closed doors. The truth is that greatness is rarely built through dramatic moments. It is built by mastering ordinary actions that most people are unwilling to repeat consistently. The ordinary is where character is tested. It is easy to stay committed when life feels exciting. It is easy to work hard when everyone is watching, or when immediate rewards are guaranteed. The real challenge comes when the work becomes repetitive. Waking up at the same time every day, practicing the same skill, following the same routine, and making the same disciplined choices can begin to feel boring. Many people mistake boredom for a sign that they are no longer making progress. In reality, boredom often means you have reached the stage where true mastery begins. Mastery is not found in doing something extraordinary once. It is found in doing ordinary things extraordinarily well, over and over again. A musician does not become exceptional by performing on stage alone. They become exceptional through thousands of hours spent practicing scales, correcting mistakes, and refining techniques that no audience ever sees. An athlete is not built during competition, but during the countless training sessions completed long before the event. A successful entrepreneur is shaped by daily decisions, careful planning, and consistent execution rather than by one fortunate opportunity. Every ordinary day presents a choice. You can approach your routine carelessly, or you can treat each task as an opportunity to improve, folding your clothes with attention, organizing your workspace, completing your responsibilities on time, listening carefully during conversations, and giving your full effort even in simple tasks, all strengthen the habit of excellence. The way you handle small responsibilities reflects the way you will handle greater ones. If you ignore the little things, it becomes difficult to manage bigger challenges when they arrive. Many people are constantly searching for excitement because they believe progress should always feel inspiring. They jump from one goal to another, one routine to another, and one opportunity to another, hoping that something new will finally change their lives. But lasting growth does not come from constant change. It comes from consistent repetition. The person who quietly follows their routine every day often achieves more than the one who endlessly searches for the perfect strategy. Ordinary moments also reveal your discipline. No one applauds you for waking up early, reading another chapter, preparing healthy meals, or finishing your work before relaxing. These actions may seem invisible, but they shape your future more than occasional bursts of motivation ever could. Success grows quietly in these unnoticed moments. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you strengthen habits that become automatic over time. There will be days when your routine feels repetitive and your progress seems slow. You may question whether the effort is worth it. Those moments are exactly where most people give up. They chase novelty because they have not learned to appreciate consistency. But those who achieve extraordinary results understand that repetition is not their enemy. Repetition is the path that transforms average abilities into remarkable skills. Instead of asking whether today's work feels exciting, ask whether today's work moves you one step closer to the person you want to become. One page read, one workout completed, One task finished with excellence, one promise kept, and one distraction resisted may not seem impressive on their own. Yet together they form the foundation of an exceptional life. Every ordinary decision becomes another brick in the structure you are building. Do not wait for extraordinary opportunities before giving your best effort. Learn to bring excellence into the ordinary moments that fill your day. Treat every responsibility as a chance to strengthen your discipline, every routine as an opportunity to sharpen your character, and every challenge as another lesson in perseverance. Over time, the ordinary actions that once seemed small will combine into achievements that appear extraordinary to others, not because you possessed rare talent or perfect circumstances, but because you mastered the simple habits that most people ignored and continued practicing them with unwavering commitment. Long after the excitement had disappeared and the routine had become the true measure of your character, force yourself to be consistent until consistency no longer feels like force, but becomes your nature. Then your actions will speak louder than your intentions, your habits will become stronger than your emotions, and your life will become undeniable proof that persistence always outlasts temporary motivation.